Stakeholder organizations. Stakeholder organizations. So, Commission on Human Rights. The Commission on Human Rights, or CHR, is an independent office created by Section 18, Article 13 of the Philippine Constitution, with the primary function of investigating all forms of human rights violations involving civil and political rights in the Philippines. So, the commission is composed of a chairperson and 4 members, majority of which must be always under the Constitution. So, the commission of empowered to investigate all forms of human rights violation involving civil and political rights, adopt rules of procedure and issue contempt citations, provide appropriate legal measures for the protection of human rights of all criminals within the Philippines, and several other powers in relation to the protect of human rights. So, the program of CHR is in charge of following programs. So, number 1, Human Rights Protection Programs. The Human Rights Protection Programs implemented the Legal and Investigation Office, which provides legal aid and counseling service, conducts monitoring of causes, compliance with concerned agencies, conduct rights-based public injury on issues and concerns of marginalized and disadvantaged sectors, and conduct studies to establish certain human rights condition situations affecting human development for the adoption of policies, programs and measures for the promotion of human rights. The Legal and Investigation Office also provides appropriate human rights investigative interventions, medico-legal service, conduct alternative dispute resolution of case in through mediation, quick reaction activities, fact-finding missions, right-based situation tracking, and rights-based investigation monitoring. So, number 2 is the human rights education, teaching exemplars. So, the CHR established linkage and collaborations efforts with the Department of Education. With this effort, the two agencies forged a joint of declaration of undertaking GDU in 1992. So, and a memorandum of agreement in 1996 which provided development of human rights education curriculum for integration across towards 2 levels of education to implement the provision of memorandum agreement to join was undertaken entitled. So, writing workshop in the development of human rights education teaching exemplars for the elementary and the secondary levels. So, number 3 is human rights linkage development and strategic planning. The CHR established a legislative and program division which is in charge of the monitoring bills with human rights implications filed in Congress and coordinating in the preparation of the CHRP position on proposed measures. So, the LPD has participated in the almost all committee hearings and technical working group meetings in both houses of Congress, and in such other fora and matters with human rights implication, right to development program, a system of developing and monitoring rights-based programs and measures across institutions aimed at creating enabling enabling environment for poverty reduction linked with the 9 components of good governance of follows. So, Department of Department of Justice. So the Department of Justice of the Philippine government is its principal law agency. So it derives its mandate primarily from the Administrative Code of 1987, Executive Order number 292, carries out this mandate through the department proper and the department's attached agencies under the direct control and supervision of the Secretary of Justice. The DOH, through its office and constituent attached agencies. So, is it also the government's legal counsels and representative in litigations and proceedings regarding the service of a lawyer. So, implements the Philippines laws on the admission of stay of aliens within its territory and provides free legal service to indigent and other qualified citizens. So, these are the functions. As the principal law agencies of the Philippines, the Department of Justice carries out specific functions in order to fulfill its basic functions. So, number one, administration of the criminal justice system. The DOH investigation, the, the DOH investigates the commission of crimes and prosecutes offenders through the National Bureau of Investigation, which means NBI. So then, and the National Prosecution Service, the NPS, respectively, the DOH administer the probation and correction system of the country through Bureau of the Corrections, BUCOR. So the Board of Pardons and Parole, the BPP, and the Parole and Probation Administration, which is PPA. So number two, legal counsels and government. The DOH, through the Office of the Solicitor General or OSG, and the Office of the Government Corporate Counsel or OGCC, act as well legal representative of the government of the Philippines. So, its agencies and instrumentalities, including government-owned and controlled corporation under subsidiaries. So, officials and agents in any proceeding, investigation, or matter requiring the service of a lawyer. So, number three is provision of free legal assistance. The DOH provides free legal assistance representations to indigents and poor litigants as well as other qualified persons in criminal, civil, and labor cases, administrative, and other quasi-judicial proceeding and non-commercial disputes through the Public Attorney's Office, PAO, pursuant to Republic Act number 9406. Then number four is Alternative Dispute Resolution. So, the Alternative Dispute Resolution Act of 2004, the RA 9285, created the Office of the Alternative Dispute Resolution, which is an agency attached to the DOH, with which functions is to promote, develop, and expand the use of alternative dispute resolution in civil commercial disputes. So lastly, number five is other functions. There are four other functions. Number one is witness protection. Number two is anti-human trafficking. Number three is rape victim assistance and protection. Number four is anti-child pornography. The number one, witness protection. On Duterte's administrations 2016 until present. So, on June 15, 2020, Maria Reza, the founder and executive editor of the news website, and Rinaldo Santos Jr., researcher at Rappler, were sentenced with a minimum of 6 months and 1 day and a maximum of 6 years imprisonment and fine as USD for moral damages and for exemplary damages. So, they were thus critics of President Rodrigo Duterte and reported on his war of drugs campaign that killed more than 12,000 Filipinos. So that is an example of human rights. So human rights found in investigations that the police are falsifying and evidence to justify the illegal killing of civilians. So on June 26, 2020, Philippine police arrested around 20 people at the LGBT Pride event. So they were protesting against an anti-terrorism bill which will eliminate legal protection and police can detain groups and individuals without any warrant under the label of tourism. So the arrest took place without any explanation from the police force. Human Rights Watch argued an authority to release those detained and allow them to exercise their fundamental right of protesting peacefully. So on July 3, 2020, Amnesty International criticized an controversial Anti-Terrorism Act signed by the President Rodrigo Duterte and said that the new law is the latest example of the country ever worsening human rights record.